Hello, my lovely listeners. I had a lot of thinking. I have done a lot of thinking yesterday about this specific subject while I was running, and the thoughts and the words were just coming to me so fast. And I was thinking, I have to record it. I have to record it because, yes, it was, as always, it was just spilling out of me. But it was yesterday, and I didn't have time to record it yesterday. So I hope today I will be able to remember what I was thinking and how I was thinking it. And also I am in a specific frame of mind so that I have this download sort of out. So this episode, I wanted to call it Straight and Forward. And the title was supposed to be, oh my god, now it's just run out of my head, was supposed to be, I know now, Intimacy Without Commitment. So this is a very common, I would say, or common, maybe not very, but common description in online dating. And even if this is not a description in online dating profile, is sort of the approach that people are taking in kind of approaching life and relationships. And I was thinking about this obviously from like a spiritual perspective. And first of all, I was thinking that we are all human. We crave connection. And we crave intimacy, and intimacy is not only the physical intimacy, we also crave just soul intimacy, spiritual intimacy, emotional intimacy. And even if it's body intimacy, it doesn't have to go straight down to sort of the act. It can be cuddles, it can be, soft touching, it could be just another body next to us. And each and every one of us, that this is how we are created. We are created for companionship. We are created for being with someone, and sooner or later we crave that. So then what happens? The intimacy, the physical intimacy, to be really deep and full is, and I think especially for women, but I believe for men as well. I'm not going to go deep into that and kind of differentiate, but to differentiate is that from my perspective, I can see that from the dating profiles, a lot of guys put that on, and when I see that being put out straight on, it makes me angry, it makes me sad. It makes me sad because of the state of the world, or that someone is expecting that without kind of realizing what toll it takes on the person and why they are even asking for that while being on dating app. And this is to do with where my thoughts went in that is why you are after intimacy. I know why you are after intimacy, and I've just explained that, because as human we crave that, we are built for that. This is the intimacy is like is not only dopamine, but the love, the connection, those feelings, that's where we came from. That's how we should be brought up. That's what we should be brought up in. So the love from mom, from siblings, from family, that's what makes us feel safe, that's what makes us feel secure, that's what makes us feel happy. And then this is the sort of intimacy and the pleasure of meeting someone, of connecting with someone, of being close to someone, even for a moment. For me, is touching the universe, is touching the God. And obviously when you have this moment of true intimacy, of true connection with another soul, you don't see it like this. You or a lot of people don't see it like this and wouldn't describe it like this. Oh, and I now touch the universal love, the collective consciousness, the core of what humanity is. But in a very small element, the very small part, that's what it is. And that's why we are craving that, because we want to feel connected to the universe, to the whole, to God, whatever you wanna call it. And those glimpses of touching this through this connection, through being mirrored by someone, through being seen by someone, through being understood by someone, that's what the intimacy is. And I am talking as well physical intimacy, because this is physical intimacy without the even a shadow of the soul intimacy is kind of artificial. We think that's what it is. We think that that's intimacy, and in the moment it probably is, because the physicality, the act of love, the actual act of love, and everything to do with that, and all the hormones that are created, they might feel like that's what it is, but it's artificial, without the soul connection, without the mind connection, without the mental intimacy. It's not full. So we crave that and we want that, and when it comes, it fulfills us. It kind of gives us the fulfillment, fills up the hole or whatever we have in us, or that just the human part that we can kind of not live without is like a fuel. And that's why obviously we are craving it. And it doesn't matter that at this moment, it doesn't matter that it's with one person, with another person, with the third, with 15, with 20th person. These are just the moments of connections that give us energy, that gives us fuel. And it could be sometimes very dark, and sometimes it could be like someone is hungry all the time, and that someone is just going out and taking it, because it is a life force. It's and especially for someone who's maybe not aware, or who is really craving love. And now I go into another part of the without commitment part. And what does this mean? So intimacy, like I said, very important for us. We are built for it. We exist for it, and we cannot exist without it. And we subconsciously crave it all the time. Now, the intimacy fluctuates obviously from the beginning to then kind of go on. An intimacy, especially with one person, we go through the stages. We start mirroring each other. Then it goes into we have to look in our own shadow, what this other person brings up within us, what we bring up within another person, and learn from this and develop from this and gain awareness and face our challenges and face our issues. This is what intimacy brings, and this is what commitment brings. And obviously, this is the hard part. The intimacy is, let's say, the easy part. It happens, it's pleasure, it releases happiness hormones, right? It gives us this hit of, I am being loved, I am being seen, like I said. But it's got its price. And I don't want to say its price as commitment is a price, because ultimately the commitment is the continuous intimacy, but it's intimacy on another level. It's intimacy on the level of sometimes hard work and seeing yourself, and sometimes overcoming some sort of boredom or some sort of safety and comfort, which you have to continuously come out with and get to know another person, and get inspired by other person, and get really curious about other person, and excited about them, and also excited about yourself. And you have to create this intimacy over and over again, as if you were putting whatever wood into a fire, as is a metaphor. So this is the continuous intimacy that comes with sometimes work, very often work and commitment, and the whole of this brings you, this kind of brings you and elevates you on the level of being as one with another person, while you're still being two separate entities. And obviously it might come to the end when you kind of fulfill this part of yourself, you healed each other wounds. But this is also painful, because the longer you stay with one person, the more you are open to this person, the more this person is open to you, the more you get attached and everything else around it, and you create your small world. And this, then if this world falls apart, and it's almost like ego death, that's very hard, that's very painful. So it's almost easier not to have this commitment, right? Because then you don't face yourself with any pain associated with that. You don't have to take responsibility for the other person, for yourself. And yes, you create kind of this artificial sometimes, or sometimes even not artificial intimacy, but it's just momentarily. And the easiest way to do that is momentarily, and is with one person, and then after another, so you don't get attached, so there's not enough or a lot of time to kind of open each other wounds, and it just stays in this intimacy, which can be really anything. For me, is, for example, very often someone's opening up to me, and I've heard it a lot. It's almost as if you had a psychological session with someone else, and tell someone your worries, your traumas, which is kind of it might be quite liberating for the other person, but the person who is listening, takes on this energy. And this is another thing, to exchange of each other energies, or taking someone energy, which also is an act of lovemaking. So when this act happens with a lot of people, in also sometimes a short period of time, or whatever example is might be once every couple of weeks, it would be another person. These are very strong energies, because the intimacy is a very powerful act. This connection, especially the first connection, or the first couple of times, this connection between people, if it's a mental connection, plus on top of that physical connection as well, this is a very, very strong energy that stays within you, and then stays with another person. And then if you repeat it with person after person after person, the energy mix, and I don't want to say it's not natural, because I don't want to call it like this, but you have to understand that you take those energies on and pass them on whoever is the next person. And I definitely felt that within myself, because the one thing that I wanted to say is I am trying not to be judgmental, although, like I said, when I see it online, I'm really always very surprised. But I know there are different circumstances, and like I said, I know, and I can try and make myself understand why people would say that. I know that it comes from fear, as a lot of people's actions like that can potentially harm them, comes from fear of not wanting to face their shadows, from fear of being hurt, because they've already been hurt a lot. And this kind of being the easiest way of gaining this energy, this life force, the intimacy that gives us our fuel, but then without facing sort of the consequences, and without facing the other parts that should naturally come with that, but you are just not ready, you are just not making them possible, or not wanting them for yourself. And it definitely comes from fear. It comes from fear of rejection, it comes from fear of pain, or not being ready to really face yourself, because the other person, if the connection is really strong, is always going to be mirroring you, is always going to show you what parts of you are not healed, what parts of you are being trauma bond within yourself, and also that's how many people this is the level that many people also might connect on the level of this trauma bond, and what attracts them to themselves. And obviously with people like this, when they connect and they might have a very strong intimacy because of that, because of those subconscious level. So this is what already exists, and it kind of, they see it maybe even as a physical attraction, but these might be the subconscious level of their trauma that kind of magnetize them together. And obviously this is so strong that they cannot face it. And I sometimes feel like no wonder they cannot face it if they are not ready, if they are not in a stage of their life that they can be helped, that they want to be helped by a professional, or by being awakened, by going through, this maybe spiritual awakening, this kind of awareness awakening, whatever you want to call it, and they are not ready for that. The only way to do that is just to not seeing this other person, because no commitment, so intimacy with no commitment, for me, it has got the end written on it straight away. So there's no commitment, so we can just say goodbye at any point, and there's nothing that kind of bonds us together. There isn't this responsibility. There's nothing that kind of makes it as a whole. It's just the intimacy, and obviously the intimacy very often is just physical, and it might be that it bonds people in the beginning, and physical intimacy is very strong in the beginning, but at some point it kind of it lessens in intensity. It can and then what makes it stronger, it is love, and it is commitment, and it is the sort of can I call it like agreement, or something that is just something that we say, yes, we are having this life together, we are creating something together, our energies bond, and we are creating the reality that is us in this reality. Is like a not a bubble, but like a creation of two people. With no commitment, there is no creation, there is nothing. There is just fulfilling each other primal need for intimacy, for being connected to someone on the primal level of, I am human, you are human, I have soul, you have soul, I have traumas, you have traumas, and we talk about it, and then there is the physical act that it kind of is like a release, and then that's it. I cannot face anything else in that because of my own fear, of my own shame, of the internal, of being so scared internally. That's something that I can live with this how I am now, and this is what I've built around it, walls and walls, or whatever, however I structure my life. If I let someone in and we kind of try to look together, or this person is going to mirror this, my wall that I was building for a long time will start to break, and I am not ready for this. So kind of understanding that, and that's all great and hunky-dory, and many people operate like this, but the thing is that sooner or later this is not going to be enough. The going from person to person, from person to person will give you more emptiness, or will give us whatever will give more emptiness that it brings with it. And because it's artificial, because this is not the actual life force, because we are meant to be in this connection with another person. And not only that, I'm not even talking about like, oh, you are supposed to be with one person for a very, very long time. We are supposed to form the connection because also for ourselves, because we are supposed to grow and we are supposed to develop and we are supposed to get the awareness. And how we do it is through another person, and being with another person and mirroring another person, and another person being mirror for us. This is the only way for us to become better. And not only that, is also, again, maybe it's more for women, I don't know, probably not, probably for men as well, being in this union as two people, as we even see, I don't know, in animal kingdom, in just the 2 is such a powerful number, right? We have angels number, we have 222. There's a lot of other examples, and I think that is just a sacred thing. And I'm not even talking about getting married or making it sort of any official with like government or something. It's not about that. It's just making this commitment of being in the union and making it beautiful and creating something. And forever is a long word, and we all change, and maybe once we get to a certain point in our life, and also people live for such a long time now that they have almost 3 or 4 lives, whether before there was, when someone was 40 or 50, they were grandma already, and that's it. So it was easier to just be with one person. Now we very often hear of someone, if let's say someone gets married or gets into relationship when they are 20 or in their early 20s, and then they get to 40s or late 30s, and then they become a different person because everything changes and reevaluates in their life. And the person that they've used to be with maybe it's not on the same level or awareness level or spiritual level or whatever. And then it's very common to say, I have outgrown this relationship. And I think that now things like this do happen, and it's very, very painful, and it does not mean that we cannot overcome that, but it takes a lot of work, and not everyone is ready for this work. And it's so much easier to go into another relationship, let's say with commitment, to kind of start off, because when it's fresh and when it's so exciting, it's much easier. But then obviously, as the wheel of fortune turns, we will get to the same moment very likely again with another person, if we didn't go through the lessons, or if we didn't work on whatever was holding us up in this relationship, this previous relationship. So yeah, these were my thoughts about intimacy without commitment. When I was running, another thought came to my head about there's this app where you can buy gold, and you invest in gold, and you kind of keep gold, and then it kind of goes up and down of whatever gold worth is. Excuse for the sounds. So I was thinking, if there was an app for intimacy and people invest in intimacy in this digital age when everything is so online and virtual and AI, and the true intimacy, I feel like a lot of people is looking for this intimacy while chatting to GPT, and or AI or any other kind of telling them their utmost desires and their secrets and confiding in them. This is also search for intimacy. So intimacy also almost became like a currency, like how much intimacy I can get, how long it will last me for. And like I said in the beginning, this is something that we cannot live without. It leaves us, living without this intimacy leaves us dry. We crave intimacy. It's like food for us as well. Obviously, you can live without it, and probably some people need it less, some people need it more, and you get your hugs and your lovely feelings from your pets, right? You can do something for other people, and this can fill you in the same. It's not necessary intimacy, but these are other important parts of human life and what can make us feel full. And also the levels of intimacy, they change when we grow, right? The older we are, I suspect the physical intimacy craving lessens. Obviously, you are not going to have the same levels of craving for physical intimacy when you are 90 to what you are 30, 40, 50 or 60. Although I hope so, why not? Maybe we don't talk about it enough, about the intimacy of physical intimacy in like an older age. And it definitely has got its place because we have human body, because we have the urges that run the human body, like everything else, like blood and oxygen and our organs. So we do have that, and our hormones, so it's natural. But obviously the intimacy, the true intimacy that you can have with your friends, with your close one, with your family, the intimacy that is built on trust, on the fact that the other person really sees you and is really empathetic and really listens, and you can be yourself with this person, and you can sit closely and have an intimate dinner together, or I don't know, hold hands or whisper to each other ears and things like this, things that create and are intimacy, and they are built over time, and that makes the intimacy even stronger and stronger. And like I said, is a vital thing for everyone. And obviously that's a kind of ironic thing, the app for when you buy intimacy, and how much of intimacy and how is it even then given to you? Is it only something that you keep in the bank? But how much is it? How much is it worth? And I think that it is worth a lot, because like I said, we cannot live without it. So that was just an idea of intimacy as a currency, as something that we can almost buy, like on those dating apps. And just to finish off, the intimacy without commitment, the guy that I've seen one day on the dating app, before I saw that, he was saying something about how should my first date look like, or I hope my first day would look like, and then he goes, oh, I hope then she will not be pregnant, or she will not come to the date with luggages or something like this. And then it goes his description of his dating goals is intimacy without commitment. So I was just thinking, you are sending energy, this exact energy, and this is what type of people you get. You get maybe a pregnant lady, or you get a lady who is kind of in between flats with her luggages, because our expectation is we still want a decent person, a lovely person, a person who can listen, is whatever is mentally sane, is kind, and is empathetic, and sending these signals. How do you think how do you think this energy that you're sending, intimacy without commitment, how is this energy going to attract to you person who does have the same goals as you? And then you create something, let's say, beautiful for 2 minutes, for 5 minutes, for 10 days, for 1 month, for 2 months. And then when you get to the point that is kind of this neuralgic, this kind of painful, this kind of, oh no, I cannot do this, is gonna release, or it's gonna awaken this pain, this trauma that I have, and then bam, that's it, no more. And then looking for exactly the same thing with another person. Like, truly empathetic, awakened, aware person will not look for something like this. And if they agree on that, doesn't mean that they are looking for this. It's probably that they have, you know, still have hope that maybe it will be something else, that maybe this other person would become aware. And very often that's not the case. If the person tells you how it is, that's probably how it is. So that was my little train or rail of thoughts about intimacy without commitment that I was thinking, because I observed it on social media, or yes, on dating apps, and I was just wondering about it, and what it means spiritually, and what it means for people who are dating. So I hope you found it interesting. If you did, please leave it a like, and I speak to you soon. Bye bye.